Hello and welcome back to the Misfits Podcast, rated 5 stars on iTunes by Dankest of Dylans. He says, I walked in on my brother nutting while listening to this podcast.
That's the appropriate response.
I guess. You guys ever nut?
I've never, well, I've nut before. Very
nut?
recently,
Really?
I've nut.
How
Recently.
recent? Today?
A couple hours ago.
Let's not talk about nutting this early on.
Yeah, I was going to say,
This happens every podcast.
I've never
happened?
walked in on somebody mid-nut, and I don't think I've ever been mid-nut while someone walks on me. Like, how
I
unlucky.
thought you were this morning when I walked in on you. You were just like sitting on your bed, just sitting there like staring off in the distance. And you're just like,
Is that how you nut? You're just like pensively looking off like...
No, he was just like sitting in his bed for a second, and it's just like,
Joined today by our co-hosts, we got Matt,
hi.
we got Toby,
What'd it do?
and we got Swagger Soul, sexy hunk of man over here, and then there's that guy.
I'm here too. It's me.
So,
It's that.
Thank you for doing that.
yeah, also
It
fits.
was nice. It was refreshing.
Yeah, dude.
I appreciate it.
Do it anytime.
I stress a lot when I introduce you guys. I forget your names. So,
Yeah. It's
good
because
to
you're
be
an old
here.
man.
happy to be here. Swaggy, you take the lead here.
All right. So, basically what we got
When's it
going
coming
on.
out?
Oh, we just talking about Cube
As
World for a whole
usual.
hour.
Minecraft's
All
coming
right.
back. When's Cube World coming back?
As
Yeah,
always,
it's been over 6 years. My hope is dwindling.
Oh fuck! Here he goes.
It's turning. Okay, you know what?
You know what? Cube World is never coming out. Let's move
Okay.
on.
But
It's
you know
fine.
what? You know what?
Accept it.
You know what actually is something achievable to look up to. Something
is
that
that?
you could get every week if you so desire.
What?
Gamer subs.
Gamer
As
subs.
usual,
Gamer
brought
subs.
to you by Gamer Subs.
Shit. Powering the
give me one of those.
podcast.
Use code Misfits on
these.
gamersubs.gg. Thank you for sponsoring the podcast. We're all drinking it. We're having a lovely time.
If it wasn't for Gamer Subs, I probably,
Not
wouldn't.
want to.
I mean, I probably would never get anything done anymore because like I live stream, I drink Gamer Subs. Podcast, I drink Gamer Subs. I have sex with my estranged wife. I drink Gamer Subs.
Swagger woke me up like 3 hours ago, so I had to have some Gamer Subs to be on the podcast.
And you're having some right now
Life
on the
hack?
podcast.
Life hack: get sparkling water and put Gamer Subs in it. You make a fucking soda. It is epic. It's so goddamn good.
Epic.
Tastes fucking amazing and it's refreshing.
You know what I actually genuinely do all the time? If I order like food and get it delivered, if I get like an iced tea or something, fucking the blueberry acai, putting a scoop of that into an iced tea is so good.
Legendary.
But let's try not to make it 10 minutes of ad because people fucking complain about it.
Ramble
This is
about
an
our
ad.
sponsors because we love
it's
them
not
so
We
much.
just genuinely really like them.
Yeah. Yeah, so turn the fuck up, Gamer Subs. Thanks for supporting the show once again. What's going on this week, guys? What's been happening in the wacky world of of us guys? You
Wacky
know?
World of Melbourne. What's been going on?
I've just been working.
stop?
All I've been doing is work. Just been editing, just been recording, doing production, doing some shit. Bucks left not too long ago, a couple
Sadly.
of days.
Oh yeah, he was
about
there
week
for like
ago.
a week. No hot
Yeah.
water the entire time.
Still have
It's
no
so
hot
bad.
water in Misfits' house. It's still cancer. Still
I was
terrible.
having fucking dreams about having a hot shower, and then I woke up and I was like, "Fuck."
Have you just been having cold showers?
No, I
we
just go to the gym or like shower here most of the
Yeah,
time.
I see.
I've either showered at the gym or at the office or at Manager Ryan's.
Sucks to be you guys.
I tried
Yeah.
heroin.
Oh yeah,
Really?
How'd that go?
How was that?
Pretty much the best I've ever felt in my life. But
Did you
like,
die
I
from
heard
it?
it's like that.
But like times 10.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
How did you?
It was like witnessing a sunrise, but the sunrise was inside my body.
I see.
Is it kind of like meth?
I haven't tried meth.
Would you?
You haven't
would you-
tried meth?
No.
Would you recommend heroin?
Fucking nerd.
Dude, I mean, heroin's incredible.
Wow.
Wonderful experience.
Oh, cool.
Don't try heroin.
Yeah, don't do that.
Whoa, that was a wacky
fact.
improv bit.
Don't do heroin.
Remember how you guys had that like homeless heroin addict living with you guys for like months?
Holy
What happened to that guy?
Oh my god!
He,
it was-
we actually found him with a unfortunately, we
What
found
happened?
we found him in the backyard dead with a hooker beside him.
A hooker?
Also dead.
Also
Oh, they were
dead.
dead.
Yeah.
The hooker was dead as well.
Yeah, it was a
so
mur-
just two dead people
It was a
Yeah.
murder suicide
in your backyard.
Yeah.
Why'd they die?
I assume heroin overdose.
You said murder suicide.
No, they didn't pay up. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
yeah,
I mean,
overdose.
It feels like it
Overdose.
was an intentional overdose.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
What was his name again?
Gerald?
You can't even remember his name. This man lived with you for months.
Well, he didn't really live with
He
us.
probably didn't even remember our
He
names.
kind of
was
just
high
lived
half the time.
He lived near us. He lived in our vicinity, but like he didn't really live with us because I feel like to live with someone you gotta kind of experience their company and stuff.
Pay rent.
And pay rent. But he was just kind of under a bed
Right.
Right.
At what point did you discover that he was living there?
I think it was like 6 months ago, right?
So you just looked under the bed one day and there was Gerald.
Yeah.
No, I think we were like walking around. It's like you're walking around barefoot in the kitchen, and then like a needle stabs you in your foot, and you hope it falls off by the time you take the next step.
The
But
worst when
instead
that
it goes
happens.
in deeper,
Ah.
and then you have to get your foot amputated. Fucking
For,
sucks.
for anybody wondering why I have tape over my nose,
No one's wondering.
No one cares. We're talking
Yeah.
about Gerald.
Yeah, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Shut the fuck up, Swagger. We're talking about our dead friend Gerald.
Have some
And
respect
you bring
for
up
the dead.
You bring up some fucking tape on your face.
I actually really want to know why he's got tape on his face.
now I'm not gonna tell you.
Well,
You
shit, go
guys are
ahead.
Gonna be fucking
You got our
rude.
attention.
You guys are gonna be so fucking rude.
You know,
Dude,
you know what,
Gerald's
Swagger?
dead. Get over it.
Yeah, you're right. I lashed out because I'm upset about Gerald.
That guy's name is Loga.
R.I.P.
Can we just
That's
can
a
we
shit
stay on
name.
one topic, please, at a time? Listen, I'm sorry, Swagger.
It's like a
that
Chinese off-brand of Lego.
Can I please just get my piece out here? I'm sorry that I yelled at you. I shouldn't have snapped.
Right.
Gerald, as you know, was my mentor, and he was a close friend of mine.
You never even met him.
We Skyped. And you know,
Gerald would use Skype too.
I feel like he made me the man I am today. And I hope the police sirens in the back are not for me. Because, yeah, me and Gerald got up to some shenanigans via Skype, let me tell you. But anyway.
Yeah. I have tape on my face because my balaclava keeps fucking sliding down. I have to get a new one. It's fucking terrible and I hate it. Anyways, back to you.
Yeah, ask me questions about my relationship with Gerald.
No.
Please, come on.
When did it begin?
Yeah, I gotta go, guys.
Oh,
sure?
Fair enough.
All right. You better lie.
I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
Probably like maybe 4 days.
No.
Month.
Yeah, lie low for a bit. Lie low. Okay.
Later.
Later, dude. That was close.
Yeah. So
I hope he gets out in time.
Wow.
So Matt has left the show, guys. He will not be returning.
That's
yeah,
it.
That's it. That's that for Matt. He's going home. He is going to just chill out for a bit. What's that? Are we good? Oh yeah. You sit there. Okay. Audio listeners, if you're confused, there's really nothing to worry about. Everything is fine. Nothing.
everything's gonna
What
be
is
okay.
he doing over there?
I don't know. He's just Swagger. Just get back to the show. Let's focus on the show.
He's putting a gun in his bag.
Swagger, just let's focus on the
Yeah,
show.
it's fine.
We're
Let's not
Okay.
talk about it.
We're
Okay.
fine. Yeah. Okay. So Swagger, how you been, man?
Good. Yeah. I've
Good.
been.
Staying out of trouble.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
We like to hear that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
But you're in a library, right?
What?
You're in a library? Library?
A library?
Yeah. You go to a library.
You recently purchased a library, right?
Yeah. Read books.
Yeah.
Like-
a couple of books.
What books you reading?
I've been reading. Okay. Well, we're gonna really get into it. All right. So, I've been reading Goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
All of R.L. Stein's Goosebumps.
All of them.
Yep. Magic Tree House.
Yeah.
The good one. The classic. The dictionary.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
that's a good
by
one.
who's that by? Webster.
Oxford.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. No, Webster.
I think
Webster's
Oxford
Webster,
ripped him
yeah.
off.
Yeah. Oxford's a fucking asshole.
Dude, the worst guy. I
Yeah,
met him at
dude.
a dinner party once.
You met Oxford?
Guy would not shut the fuck up.
Just saying definitions and shit like he
Big words.
invented them.
I heard he always does ecstasy at parties, like even just standard dinner parties.
Yeah, he was definitely on something. Yeah. Anyway.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. Are we on crack right now? I feel like the listeners at home might be under the impression that we're on crack. We're not on crack. This is just a regular show that is totally normal, and everything is going to be okay. Matt is just packing his bag.
Yeah.
He really needs to get out of here ASAP.
I didn't really try heroin either, by the way.
No. Basically, everything up to this point has been a complete fabrication.
Apart from Matt being gone.
Matt is leaving, genuinely.
What the fuck?
But
All right.
he's fine. Swagger, you had a little bit of a party last night. You're up a little late.
Yeah, if you
Tell
want
us
to call
about
it
your
a
night.
party.
Tell us about your night.
Last night I went over to Manager Ryan's just to hang out, I guess. I got done with my sponsored video. I have to wait for that shit to get approved before I could put it out. And so I'm just kind of chilling for the next couple of days. So Ryan asked me, he goes, hey, you want to come over and hang out with me, Sam? A couple other friends were doing like a little LAN party. I said, sure, I'll come over. So I go over and I'm chilling out, and then I sit down, and before you know it, I'm smoking a little bit of weed, and then before you know it, I'm on a fucking Feed the Beast server on their LAN, and I played for probably about 7 hours straight.
Just high off your mind.
Just about 7 hours, 7 hours straight.
So you did drugs.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Copious
I did
amounts.
a good amount. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Did you do a bag, one of those vapor bags?
Yeah. I did like 7 or 8.
So explain the vapor bags to people at home who don't know what that is.
So basically, you get like a volcano. It's this vape
like a
called a volcano.
vaporizer.
Yeah, it's this big fucking like cone essentially. You get this thing, you load it with weed, you screw it on, you put it there, and then you get a bag, put it on the nozzle, you click a button, and then it fills the bag with vape smoke. And then you take it off, you put a little thing on it, and then you just hit it until it's empty, and then you can refill it.
So it just looks like you're hitting a massive plastic bag.
Giant bag. For the people on the Patreon, they've probably seen a deleted scenes. Deleted scenes where I essentially
a huge one.
3 meters.
It was a 3 meter long giant plastic bag that
Filled with weed
that I
vape.
had. This balaclava was really fucking my shit up.
You're fine.
It's literally in my mouth.
We can see your mouth flapping around like there's some
Hey.
kind of like, you know.
Hey, how you going?
Yeah, it looks like how the skins in Fortnite like sync up with the VoIP, but it's not quite perfect. That's what it looks like.
He almost looks like a puppet. Oh.
Oh, we just saw a glimpse of Swagger's face, but we'll probably
Ow.
cut away from that. Are you good?
Oh, I just fucking tore off a couple of nibs.
He's ripped the
nibs?
tape off.
You know
of
what a
his
nib
face.
is?
No, what's a nib?
Nibs are like the really small hairs that start growing out of your
Okay.
out of your face.
Oh,
Just
yeah?
very small nibs. You got to pick them out with tweezers.
I don't know if I get nibs, dude.
You don't get nibs?
I don't think I have any nibs on me.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
we get those in New
I'm
Zealand.
a nibber, bro. I nib a lot.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Bit of a nibster.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Okay. Wow. That's awesome, dude.
Wait,
Yeah, dude.
so you guys, how many people are in this Minecraft LAN setup that you got at Ryan's house?
It's me, Sam, our friend Jordan, there's Chris, and Blue, your editor.
Okay.
So
Okay, there's a fair few people.
There's like 5 or 6. I think there was 5 at the most. They only
Sounds
have
like a lot of fun.
4 or 5 PCs there, but dude, we turned off all the lights. We're playing music. We're not wearing headphones. Everyone's speakers are on, and we're just doing shit in Tekkit.
Yeah.
And I was having a blast.
Wow.
I was really, really focused, really in on it. Really just fucking feeling the vibe, really chilling
Yeah.
out.
It sounds like
And
a lot of fun.
Before I knew it, it was about 4:30, and then by the time I got home, I think it must have been like 5:20.
LAN
And then-
parties are a
yeah.
lot of fun. It's such a cool, it's such a cool experience. If you're a kid at home and you got a computer, you got some friends that you play computer games with a lot, you know, try and get an opportunity to get all of your friends in one place with all their PCs, because it's such a cool experience. I used to do it, you know, fairly frequently with my friends in Auckland, and it's just so cool. You know, you drink a little alcohol, smoke a little weed, and just play video games all night.
Yeah, I've never done a LAN party. Even then, I don't think that was necessarily LAN. I actually don't know what the fuck a LAN is. Is that
Local
your
area
all,
network.
So you're
Local area
playing
network, yeah.
from the same Wi-Fi and at zero latency? Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
but I mean, when people say LAN party, I think what they really just mean is a bunch of people
gaming
in
in
the
person.
same room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume that's what it means, because we weren't technically playing on a LAN. We had a private server that was located in Melbourne
Yeah.
that we were all connected to. But just being in the same room with other people
It's
playing
really cool.
Minecraft
Lot of
was
fun.
pretty nice.
Sounds like fun. I mean, for people who don't know what Tekkit is a Minecraft mod pack that basically adds a whole bunch of shit that just basically makes the end game of Minecraft just like a million times harder to reach. Like it adds mods that will allow you to build machines and like magic shit and like crazy realms to go into and all kinds of junk.
I think we were doing Feed the Beast.
Feed the Beast. Well, Feed the Beast is similar. It's basically kind of like the more modernized version with slightly more recent mods. But I have been recently, for the last couple of weeks, streaming on a Tekkit server with a bunch of other streamers, which has been a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, shit's pog. I'm enjoying the Minecraft stuff. It's
Yeah, Minecraft is really making its second wind, very, very much so. It's popping on YouTube. It's popping on Twitch.
Yeah.
I'm even personally enjoying just playing it in my spare time.
Yeah.
At this point, you know,
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been playing Minecraft as a like wind down game for like since I was a kid. Really, like it's a great game always to play by yourself on a weekend, maybe with a little bit of marijuana involved. You know what I'm saying? You know, like it's good. It's fun. It's a good time.
yeah,
Like what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is that for me, the game almost has never really died off.
yeah. In a way, I mean, it definitely fucking slowed down for a couple of years. It was just kind of, getting these updates. People were like, oh, this isn't the Minecraft I'm used to playing. And then everyone's coming back to it after all this fresh new shit has been implemented, and they're rediscovering it again for the first time. And I think that's pretty cool. they've added so much shit to it over the course of the years that people kind of stopped playing it, and then all these old Minecraft veterans, all these people that grew up playing it, are coming back and having to go on Wikipedia and search up crafting recipes again.
Yeah.
Just like the good old days.
Yeah, I feel like such an old man when I play like the new version now because there's so much shit that I just like.
Yeah, what the fuck do I do with the polar bear, dog?
Yeah.
What the fuck do I do with the turtle?
I'm like, there are dolphins now?
Yeah,
like,
there's tridents. I could swim. Holy shit.
there used to be a time when you had to install like Mo creatures to get all
Yeah,
those
I
crazy
remember Mo
animals.
creatures,
Oh my
shit.
God. The best. Yeah.
That was a good time.
It was a good time. Minecraft, I feel like, is truly the root of all things in some ways. I mean, we've said it before, but like, I don't know if any of us would really be where we are today without that game. Like, even though it's not been directly involved in our careers, it's such a big part of like the gaming experience for us growing up.
Yeah,
and, like, why we got into PC gaming.
Just fucking being glued to your computer screen, getting involved in communities and all of that shit. That kind of stuff through Minecraft, dude. Just falling in love with gaming and game communities and all of that, I think, just kind of gave us the knowledge, I guess, to, keep doing that. I mean, I don't know. When it comes to Minecraft, because I played that shit when I was young, man. Like, I think by the time I was like middle to late high school, I probably did like almost everything that I possibly could. I helped make mods for the game.
Really?
Yeah. I did texture packs. I made my own texture packs. I made my own server, joined servers, a bunch of shit. And I got a lot of really good like community experience online and like networking, and it was like that. It was like my first time like having friends that are overseas that I talked to, and it was my first time dealing with time zones
Dealing
and
with pedophiles.
so many.
Crazy. Like so many useful skills to be learned.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the other side of the spectrum where like my first time ever on a proper populated Minecraft server was 2 days ago.
Yeah. Wow.
I went on S&P Live for the first time like 2 days ago, and it was just such a cool experience seeing what happens when like 100 people play on a Minecraft server for a few months, and it's just this insane, enormous little city. It's so cool.
Yeah.
But that's like the first experience I've had with online Minecraft. Really,
That's crazy. You didn't play a lot of Minecraft back in the day, did you?
No, I've like
we
every
played,
now
I
and
tried to
again-
get you to play Feed the Beast with me, like
yeah,
in school. Remember?
I played Tekkit with Fitz once or twice and had a really good time. I've had like a couple times where I've just set up a server with one friend or something, but I've never done mods myself, and I've never done any of that. I'm gonna like do a stream where I start playing around with mods and stuff, because I think that's gonna make the game feel really different for me.
That shit was so much fun back in the day, dude. What do you think like your peak Minecraft memories were before even you were a content creator? Just
man.
playing alone,
Dude.
What mods, what server, any of that shit.
For me, it's always been about Tekkit and Feed the Beast. It's always like I literally like after I played those mod packs, vanilla Minecraft just doesn't interest me anymore. Even to this day, like I'm on the S&P Live server, but whenever I play it, I'm always just left like what. There surely is more shit to do, like surely there's more to Minecraft than this. And that's what those mod packs really like opened up for me. It's like, I can't wait to build the quarry and get like a machine to mine a 64 by 64 area for me and then pump like cobble through pipes. And you can see it moving through the pipes.
Through the pneumatic tubing,
and then sort it into your chests and like smelt everything for you. It's like the automation, like the machine
automation makes it so much more enjoyable.
Yeah,
you see your base fucking come to life, and it is actually becoming a factory. I was really into prison servers, dude. Prison servers were my shit. And this is before they came out with the fucking OP prisons where you start off with the fucking like overpowered equipment and all that shit. It was back where you start with nothing. You'd have to go to a mine. You'd mine blocks and then go to a tree farm and mine birch trees. And then you would sell them at a shop. And then you'd have to make enough money to advance to the next rank. And then the next rank would have a better mine and alternate ways to get shit. And it was just a grind to get free. And then you go to the overworld and you can have a base and all that shit outside of it.
Right.
But the cool part about the prison server is that if you wanted to go from spawn to a mine or spawn to the shop or anywhere, you'd have to cross into this courtyard that connected everything, and that was a PvP zone.
Right.
And there were guards and prisoners. So prisoners would run around and they'd hit each other, and then if the guard saw you, they'd try to kill you. And if they tagged you and you ran to a PvP zone, they'd have to say, like, they could jail you for like 5 minutes. It was like all based around role playing shit.
Right. Is it similar at all to like, have you ever played Altus Life on Arma 3?
Kind
Or
of,
any of
yeah,
those-
but no, it's not like that. It's not like role play. But, you know, there's role play elements in it. I played on Killian, Convicted, MCP, all these fucking really old prison servers. And they weren't really too big. I think Killian was like the biggest, or Convicted, or Don't Drop the Soap or something. That was actually what one was called.
I really wish that they would allow VoIP in Minecraft.
Oh, dude, would you imagine how fucking game-changing that would be? It would be content for days if I could just kill a kid, take his diamond, and hear him screech.
I mean, we're doing Minecraft Monday every week, which is, you know, for those of you who don't know, a big Battle Royale Hunger Games event with like a bunch of streamers and YouTubers. James Charles is in it, like PewDiePie was in it for a
So
week.
hot.
If you,
I mean,
but like, how cool would it
what?
be to be chasing after James Charles in Minecraft Hunger Games and screaming at him over VoIP?
Oh,
Yeah.
it'd be incredible.
Or just blasting.
There's got to
like-
be a mod for VoIP. There has to be
Maybe.
some kind of mod.
I don't know, man. It would be a hard thing to implement, I guess. But you're probably right.
What a lot of the GTA servers did was, because there wasn't VoIP on that, what they would do is they would set up a plugin for TeamSpeak, where like if you were near someone, it would unmute them and unmute you so they could hear each other, and that was just how it worked, and it worked surprisingly well.
right.
Yeah,
That's pretty good, actually.
it's a cool idea.
What are you looking up there?
I was just looking at my notes because
Yeah?
I had a couple things that I wanted to talk about, although they are like slightly more on the serious form of topics. But if
I'm
you
okay
if
with
you want
that.
to get into a couple of topics, then
No, go for it, dude. What do we got?
I wanted to bring up ego,
Ego.
and I'm not necessarily even talking about like I'm a YouTuber, like I follow his ego, or like
Just
fame
like
ego.
Just like the concept of having an ego psychologically.
Yeah. Like your perception of yourself and like why you reacted to things the way that you do, and why, like, I mean, you may view yourself like good at some things and bad at other things, or whatever. And just like, you know, I've been trying to zoom out on myself like a lot lately, and just kind of think about like, wait, why did I respond that way to that? Or like, why does that make me feel this way? And like really like try and figure out the root cause of like my just innate reactions to things. Like you say something, it may you know, I'll feel a certain type of way about it. Why the fuck did I respond that way? Or like, why is that the case? You ever think about that kind of shit? Like, what is it that makes up like who I am? Like, what is it that, like, you know, ultimately composes me?
I don't know, dude. I mean,
it's scary to
in
think
the most literal sense, it's genetics, past experience, memories, just how your brain works and how you interpret things, and you know, it pretty much your entire life before the moment of the present has determined who you are.
Yeah, when you're just a product of your experiences
Yeah.
and the things you've been taught, obviously. Yeah, but like, I mean, it's just crazy to think that you probably process the world completely differently to the way that I do.
Yeah.
Like, you may even think internally about the littlest things like completely fucking differently than I do, and you would as well, and like,
Surely.
and everyone does. And that is some trippy shit, my friends. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. It's weird thinking about ego. I've thought about it a lot, you know, because going back home and shit, you know, all my friends, you know, it's just a topic of conversation, like the nature of my job and the fact that I'm, you know, in Melbourne and doing the shit, and they think it's cool, and I also think it's cool and it's great, but it's always kind of like almost like a weird elephant in the room that's hard to avoid. You know, bringing that up in terms of like the subject, you know, because it's all I do, and so if they want to ask me about what I'm doing, I have to talk about my work.
Yeah.
'Cause it's all I do.
Yeah, well, it's like when you go back and talk to people you haven't seen in a long while, you know, since you blew up, people that you knew in your you know, quote unquote past life, let's say. I often feel like they're surprised that I'm not more excited about it than I am. And one of the things I noticed like real quick when it came to growing on YouTube is just how quickly you just adjust.
Yeah.
Like
You adjust to the numbers so fucking quick.
Or you, I mean, but I think that's true for anything. Like as a person, like you just adjust to your environment
Yeah.
very quickly. Because if you're living like the same thing out, day in and day out, this is the new norm for you. Your ego adjusts or whatever, you know, and that's just like your life now. And so when you go and see people back from your, you know, past life, they're like, "What the fuck? Like, it must be so crazy." And you're like, "Yeah, but I've been living like, you know, this weird situation for a while,
for about 2
so for me,
3
like,
years.
it doesn't faze me. I acknowledge that it's odd, but like, it's it's not like what the fuck like every single day.
Yeah, it's not like a mind-boggling switch because it was a slow growth.
Yeah.
I mean, we blew up. We got we got decent growth pretty quickly, but even then, it's not like you went from 0 to 1 million in a day.
It's over years.
Yeah, it's over the course of so many months, so many years. I think one of the things that keeps my head on my shoulders and my ego in check for the most part is the fact that I haven't revealed my face. So I don't have to tie, like, I guess, my YouTube and all of that to me personally. And it's more about, the character of Swagger Souls in the helmet and everything.
Right.
So it's not like, yeah, I'm doing it. It's like, no, my act essentially with the helmet and all of that
you
is
leave
kind
everything
of
else at the door.
Yeah. So I don't have to worry about, getting recognized or anything. I live a pretty decently, normal, life in terms of walking around and shit, and I won't have to worry about, people fucking coming up to me or doing any of that, because I feel like getting recognized must feed your ego to some degree. To see someone come up to you with a smile and it being excited, I'm sure it's a great feeling and probably makes you feel good.
I don't know. I got recognized just outside the office before. A guy on the street just stopped me and he was excited to see me. He was like, holy shit, like, what the fuck? Like, and when he said to me, like, I've thought about like the fact that I could probably run into you at some point, like so many times, and like what I would say, but I'm speechless now. And I was like, okay, well, very nice. Like I shook his hand like about 10 times because I was just like, I was just, it's like weird and uncomfortable, but you're grateful, and then like eventually there's just nothing left to say, and you're just like, well, great to meet you, man. And he goes his way, and I go my way. But walking away from that interaction, I didn't feel like, fuck yeah, like I'm the fucking man, like I got fans, bitch, like anything like that. Like it's very, like I said, it's like you adjust to it. And I think that, one of the most important things for me, just in life in general, in terms of personal growth, is constantly zooming out on yourself and just, really picking apart why you're feeling the way you're feeling, what you're up to, like, and where you want to be. And when you zoom out like that, you can kind of like see negative influences into your personality kind of creeping in. I'm kind of obsessed about it, to be honest, because I find it really interesting. I obsessively will watch these podcasts back, for instance, and be like, oh, like I came across weird that there, or like, oh, I should have handled that situation better, or
I don't watch a lot of the podcasts that I'm in for review. Usually,
really?
Yeah, I skim through it to make sure it's good, but I don't really sit there and listen to the whole thing in its entirety.
I'm very much like, and we've talked about this before, but like, I'm a perfectionist. I'm like very meticulous, and I also just, I take pride in the show, and I want to make sure that it's good. And so I think that that's kind of why I zoom in on it. But it's also about just, I want to be better at conversation. I want to be better at, just, I don't know. I just want to make sure that like, if I behave in a way that I wouldn't want to see myself behaving, then I catch it. I guess you could call it like slightly neurotic behavior, but I do it.
This whole zoom out concept you have reminds me of this thing that I read. It's, I believe, Hindu or some kind of Southeast Asian philosophy. I believe it's called the Atman. It's basically, so it was like this method of thinking where your consciousness is an outside observer to you. So whenever you say you're having an argument with somebody and you're getting angry, instead of saying internally, I'm getting angry, this is pissing me off, you go, he's getting angry, he's getting pissed off. And it's like you're dissociating consciously from yourself and putting like your mind is like this outside observer that just picks you apart and like isn't really a part of you but kind of is.
Yeah.
Very, very odd concept.
I fuck with that.
Yeah.
That's very much like how I live my life.
Well, I read into that after an acid trip.
Which is all about ego death, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Well, because it's pretty much how I felt. I felt like I wasn't in my body, and I was like, holy shit, like, who is this person that I'm watching? And it was me. And it was extremely trippy and traumatic.
Right.
I was left kind of like in this weird cosmic scum for like a good week and a half until like I figured out my way through it.
Yeah, I think I remember you talking to me about that. At
Oh
the time.
yeah. We were in like a call with Charborg.
We were
or
in
something.
Fortnite with Charborg.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you were like, my brain is just cosmic scum right now, dude. I don't know if I can play. I was like, that's whatever.
That was like fucking a year and a half ago, just about. We haven't dropped acid since last year.
Not since
just
last
over,
year.
Just over a year.
Just
over
about
a year now.
Yeah.
Uh,
We were thinking about doing it again, but
mm-hmm.
don't know.
How long does acid last?
It's a 8 to 12 hour ordeal.
No, I mean, like, if you have acid,
If you
Will
Let's say
like-
hypothetically we had
will
some
it, like,
acid.
go off?
you have to store it in your freezer, a dark, cold place. It could last a couple of months.
Theoretically, if we had acid, would it be in a freezer right now?
Yeah.
It is? I mean, would be?
Yeah, it would be next to the ice.
Okay.
Next to the ice trays in a plastic bag.
Theoretically, if we had acid, would you be down to do that again?
Theoretically, sure.
Well, theoretically, great. Toby, can you relate at all to this like topic about ego? You know,
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are times where I catch myself out and stuff. And, like, especially because I feel like because I stream every day, it's like a constant feed of, like, positivity towards me. I mean, obviously, a Twitch chat is a Twitch chat. There's fucking bullshit in there. But, it's a pretty constant, like, every day, there's a few people that'll say something, like, super nice. And it's like, sometimes that can inflate my ego a little. But I feel like, when I was smaller on YouTube, having the following that I had and that like size, I thought it was so cool. And it was just like I feel like it's because when I was a kid, I really wanted to be a celebrity.
right?
And like this is like the new. I mean, I don't know.
Why did you think that as a kid you wanted to be a celebrity?
I don't know. I've just always like kind of fetishized that life. I think when I was young, it just looked like such a cool life. It was just, it seemed like, I don't know. It's like having, as a kid, I really liked, there was the money aspect, the like crazy lifestyle aspect of being a celebrity. And then I just think I always thought there was something really cool about someone wanting to take a picture with you. I don't know why it is.
I think we've talked about this before. Yeah, like how you mentioned the picture thing. Like you always thought it was so cool, like that someone would desire to like just.
Yeah, and I still don't really know why I think it's so cool. I mean, even to this day, I think it's whenever
still think
someone
it's cool?
Whenever someone comes and takes a picture with me, I mean, at meetups it's different. But if I'm on the street or whatever, and someone comes up and asks for a picture, I still get that feeling of like, fuck, this is cool.
But like, it's not like fuck, this is cool. I am. That I'm better than other people, obviously.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's more just like I enjoy that experience.
you're fascinated by the experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I was smaller, I mean, I feel like when I was smaller and a little less mature, I mean, if someone came up and got a photo of me, I was like, I felt that there was a bit of ego there.
Right. Yeah. I think like a big reason that I bring this up is that I'm terrified of creating mental habits that are like unhealthy because of my position. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I'm terrified of being egotistical. I'm terrified of being like pedantic or arrogant or just losing like who I was before like all this should happen.
Right.
I want to like remain true to like the very core
Yeah,
essence of like what it is to be a person.
Yeah, you have
And
to
everything
look.
else is just bullshit.
You have
know?
to look at and maintain your core values and your beliefs, and you need to just, I guess, meditate on what those are. You know.
I think it's. I mean, I don't want to like keep bringing up social media because it's such a fucking la bullshit.
I mean,
topic these days.
it is desensitizing.
But-
if you're getting 1,000 messages a day that say that I love you.
It's not even that. Like that doesn't get to me because like I know myself and I know that I'm flawed. Like I know like what I'm working on. Like I know.
Yeah.
Like that I'm infinitely ignorant. Like I know these things. Like I reinforce that in myself all the time. It's more about like, let's say I never post Instagram photos anymore unless I have to for like a brand or it's a funny photo. I used to like at the beginning, I think more because I was just going through the motions of what I thought I should be doing on Instagram. And I never really tweet anything anymore either that's not a joke. Everything is just a meme because I feel like comedy is above ego. It's above like, it's above any kind of self-righteousness. And like sometimes I'll have an idea or a concept that I like want to put out into the world, and I'll think, I might tweet that, or maybe I'll make an Instagram story, or maybe like I'll have a cool experience, or I'm out somewhere and I'm doing something interesting, and I'll think, I'll put this on my story, And then I think like, why? Like, why am I doing that for? Like, why do I think like, oh, I'll put this on my story? And like, what I always come back to is like, I'm probably just seeking validation. Like, I'm probably seeking like a positive response from my followers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think like, well, why do I want that? And it's like, well, probably, for reasons that you probably shouldn't post the thing in the first place. And then I'd never post anything that isn't a joke. Do you ever think about that?
I don't know. I mean, there's an aspect of sharing something cool that's going on in your life, but I think
Yeah.
there's
That's
a
the thing.
difference between showing Mason flapping around outside of a pool in Fiji as a funny meme, and then a difference of like, oh, look at this fucking amazing, $1 million Airbnb I'm in, and flexing to everybody for the validation, and just to be like, oh yeah, I'm here and you aren't, kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, at the same time, though, like, I feel like people follow you for a reason because they want to see what you have to share. And, as much as you can view it as it's like, why do people want to see what I have to show? I feel like the reason I don't post on Instagram either anymore, to be honest. But the reason I used to post on Instagram a lot was because I just felt like, all these people follow me for a reason, and I should, give them what I think they want to see.
But it's not so much that I don't believe that people would be interested or people might enjoy the content, because I'm sure they would. Like,
What is it like? The reason
more
you would be
like-
posting it would be for the wrong reason?
I don't know. Like what you said before about how there's a fundamental desire in people to share. That's absolutely true, right? I think that's one of like the core human experiences is sharing human experiences. It's like, that's why you tell your friends
Through social
things.
media, yeah.
That's why you
Well,
talk
it's-
about yourself.
it's part of the point.
But like social media elevates it to this platform where it's a performance and it's a show.
That's fair.
And like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of Facebook culture. I was talking to my mom about this. They visited on the weekend about like, my mom, would take a photo of like us at the beach, and then she'd make a Facebook post about it. And that's like perfectly fine.
Yeah, because you're
But
sharing
there's a
that
lot
with your
of
friends and your
yeah,
family.
but there's a lot of like, I think, mom culture on Facebook or parent culture where it's like, look at what my kids do, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, it becomes like this performance of like
Almost like a competition.
yeah. And then like, if you're the only mom who's not showing what your kids are up to, everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, your kids aren't doing shit. Like, and then you start feeling bad because you're not showing that you've made these kids that are doing good things.
Well,
Yeah.
Like, it becomes this weird like fucked game of like validation.
It's where it reminds me of this one story I read where it was this Instagram mom brought her kid to a pool with a bunch of pool toys, got her a swimsuit, made her look cute, made sure that she was looking fucking smoking hot, and then brought her it was like a 4-year-old daughter to the pool, took a shit ton of pictures with him, let her swim around for 15 minutes, and then they just packed up and left. It was just a photo shoot,
Yeah.
essentially,
And that's like the
what-
epitome of what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, because it's like you're using your kid, for likes or for the response online, and it just seems odd that instead of spending the actual quality time with the child and having the good experience with them, you're just kind of taking a picture and staging the experience and then wrapping it up and going home as soon as it's over.
Yeah, but I mean, that is very obviously like the very end of the spectrum of what is negative, what I'm talking about. Like, that is obviously a show. That is obviously like, there's no shame. Like, that's shamelessly just showing off to other people. But I'm talking about like the thin line between like, am I sharing this because of my innate desire to share things with my friends, or am I putting on a performance because I want all this, I want like a wave of positive reinforcement for what I'm doing, the fact that I'm living a normal life, the fact that I'm getting coffee or whatever the fuck, I don't know. And it just fucks with my head. Like, I can't seem to figure it out. Like, even like my own reaction to posting something, I can't quite decipher yet, like the true intention, like inside of me, as to why I would have the reaction to do that.
Yeah, I had this weird thing like last week where I was like, man, I haven't posted anything on Instagram in forever. I'm just going to do a story. And I just took a story of me with my pants around my ankles.
Taking a
and
shit.
Taking a shit.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm taking a shit. And I
Yeah.
posted that to my story because I figured they'd want something, or,
I mean-
it's been a while. Just fucking do a little funny meme.
I kind of like that though, because, and this comes back to the comedy thing, like, I mean, that's not necessarily the most funny thing in the world, Swagger, but comedy, I feel like, is above all of that pretentiousness.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so, that's why my Twitter is filled with jokes. And why, like,
I think I think you could share your life as long as you do it in a funny way. You know, I mean,
I guess, but like, yeah, like it's such a whole, fucking
but even
thing.
then, you're making that a performance essentially. You're
Yeah.
just trying to make people laugh.
Yeah, and I guess that's validation in itself. But and not that there's not necessarily anything wrong with validation either, because like people need validation. Like it's how you, it's like the ultimate reassurance of like, oh, I'm going through life and I'm okay, you know.
Yeah.
But I think there's like a line where you can snap into an unhealthy relationship with validation.
I mean, when I was younger, I was always one of those people that, you know, like if I'd had a follow milestone on Instagram or something, like, and this is when I, you know, wasn't a YouTuber or anything, so it'd be like, oh, I had 500 followers, that's sick. Like, it'd be really cool, or if I got a lot of likes on a photo, it'd be really cool. And I always I always loved that. And like when I did start growing on YouTube, and it would be like, when I'd hit a milestone on Instagram or something, it'd be like, fuck, that's sick. And I always wanted to post on there because everything did so well on there. And then it got to a point where I was just like, I don't really care about this anymore. Like,
Because the game lost its charm.
yeah, the game, it was totally just a game. The game lost its charm.
Yeah, it is. I think it really is a game, and that's why you know, Instagram's doing this experiment now where they remove the likes.
Yeah. It just hit me.
I think
so. Yeah.
like I think, like, you know, I understand the idea behind the positive change, and you know, I guess they're trying to take away in some ways the validation, because no one can see how popular you are anymore outwardly.
Right.
But it removed the game. It
Yeah.
removed the entire
Yeah.
game, because that's what people care about.
I actually, weirdly, I've noticed that I don't enjoy going on Instagram as much since they changed it.
Because it's
like,
yeah, sorry. No, you talk.
even like not even about posting my own stuff, but if I'm scrolling through my feed and I can't see how many likes people have, I have less interest in the pictures. And I know it's such a strange thing, but you know, I'll see a picture and I'll be
It's like a point
I'll be
system.
like, yeah, I'll be like, how popular is this? Or like,
Yeah.
you know, is this person really as big as they seem to think they are, or something? You know, and it's just when I'm scrolling through and it looks like everyone has no likes, or you just can't see it, it does take a bit of the charm away.
It's fucking crazy how quickly, as a person, you can get used to the numbers grow. Like the growth of numbers.
Yeah.
I remember,
big
like,
time.
as soon as I started my channel and I was getting 10 subscribers a day, I was like, that's good growth. Like, in 100 days, I'll have 1,000. Or, you know, it was like 20 a day, 30 a day, 40 a day. And I'm like, oh my, this is incredible growth. And then, you know, your first 1,000 subs in a day, and you're like, holy shit, this is fucking so many people. And then soon enough, you're getting to, like, you know, 1K a day at the minimum.
Yeah.
And then you're like disappointed if it's 500 for one day. You know, I'm at a point now, and this is fucking weird, and I keep having to check myself on it. Like, I'll look at my Social Blade occasionally just to see what I'm doing, and my average is like 3K subscribers a day, which is really good growth. But if it dips, even if it goes to 2,900, there's this fucking red alert that goes off in my head that says, like, you need to upload something now. Like, you need to get back on that. You're falling off.
Yeah.
And it's so weird, because then I catch myself and I go, no, I still got 2,900 subscribers today. Like, that's still really good.
Yeah.
You know, but for some reason, just because you're so used to the numbers, you start freaking the fuck out whenever it dips a little bit.
I mean,
Because you're so worried about falling off. You're so worried about slowing down. You just keep, you know, you want the ball to keep rolling.
No one likes dying in the game, losing all their shit, and going back to a previous level.
No.
Like, it's because you've played that, you've been there. Like, I know what that's like. Like, I've experienced that before.
there is like benefits to that as well, though, and that it's sort of like a fuel, like that's fueling that fire of
it's a kick in the ass.
it's like it makes you want to work harder.
It's like motivation, I guess.
And I've
Yes, but is it like motivation for the right reasons?
no, I don't look at my Social Blade at all anymore, and I pretty much I'll look at my views on my videos like a few hours after it's gone up, and then never look at it again. And you know, that's a pretty recent thing. I've kind of just done it with with everything. I don't really give a shit about how many followers I have anywhere. You know, milestones that I hit, they don't really affect me anymore.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that I feel like that might be partly why I've been struggling with, like, to be motivated to record recently, because I don't really, you know, my subs are down right now. and I've noticed it by just so happening to see it. But I saw that they were down, and I didn't care. And I feel like if I did have that, oh fuck, my subs are down, it would maybe give me a little bit of motivation to do better.
But like, surely you should be making the content because you fundamentally want to make the content.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's like, and I've been going through a similar thing. Like, I feel like I kind of lost the interest in the game like before I even dropped off. Like, and my subs are down as well, but that's mostly just because I haven't been posting because I've been struggling with motivation. I've been in a bit of a slump.
I've noticed a lot of people have been recently, and I don't know what it is.
Every year, like
it happens every year.
I feel like it happens every year. Like there's just, I
thought
guess
it could have been just because there's been no good games coming out lately. But I mean,
Probably
a lot of people like you don't really play that many new games anyway.
No, well, I mean, like
I guess you do.
Like I just kind of got the whole CS:GO funny moments. The whole funny moments thing just kind of got old. I got so used to the game. I was playing with the same people over and over again, and of course, I love my friends, but
it's the same
like,
format.
It's the same format. It's the same thing. It's the same growth. It's like 5 mil subs. Like whoa, like
if it's getting old for you, then you must worry that this must be getting old for other people.
Well, yeah, and it probably showed in my content. I think it really did. And I'm as you probably might have guessed from earlier in the podcast, overly neurotic about these things, and I don't even know if it's in an unhealthy way because I just find it genuinely interesting to analyze.
It doesn't seem unhealthy.
But I definitely realized that I just kind of was like I was over it and I needed to change, and that's why I've been streaming and collaborating with new people and just trying to get back my fundamental passion for like entertaining and being funny and like and getting back in touch with that core side of things, because for a while I was just posting sellout videos on my second channel and like going through the motions and like doing it because I felt like I had to do it. And now I almost feel like I've reached the peak of that, and I'm now in this place where I don't really give a fuck like if my views go down a little bit or if my followers go down a little bit. Like I've played that game now. Like I know what that's like. Like I've done pretty well. Like I did well on CSGO. Like I have a lot of videos with a lot of views. Like it's whatever. Now I just want to get back to doing what I love.
Yeah.
And getting back in touch
changing
with
it up.
Just being a creator at my core and not just like a content pusher.
That was one of the most freeing things about getting a VR thing for me, because it was like the biggest breath of fresh air, even in terms of recording, because it's sticking you in this fucking immersive game world. So it's like you're actually there, and it's just this completely different kind of recording. Because it's not like, all right, let me load up Counter-Strike and look at my monitor and fuck around. It's more like, okay, I'm going to stand up and walk around and move my hands in this game and actually be physically present as I'm recording, and it makes it so much more entertaining for me personally to record something. I get so much more invested in a bit and a character if I'm playing one for a joke.
It's hilarious.
It makes it a million times more interesting, and I think it also shows for the audience as well. And I think they also appreciate that, because you're seeing fucking hands move and you're seeing the body language, and it really adds to bits.
Yeah, I mean, every creator goes through this where they reach a point where they need to change.
Yeah, just
because
evolve
in some way, like get back in touch with whatever it is that they're missing, like in terms of like positive emotional feedback for their job, so that's not just a grind. And yeah, I think mixing things up is ultimately the best way to do that. But yeah, I mean, for me, it definitely also has been a big part of it has been letting go of that game, letting go of the numbers, letting go of like the I don't know, the validation that comes with the I don't know, it's fucking weird. I kind of like I feel like I'm not meant to be an influencer. Like, I really don't.
I don't know, dude.
I often think about it. I'm like, man, like I just like sometimes I'll look at Instagram and it just makes me fucking sick. Like it really does. Like it's like what is this game? Like what are we all playing? Like what is everyone doing? And I don't know. I think I'm overthinking it probably.
A little bit. I mean, it's hard for me to feel personally connected with my numbers, knowing that it's all this, and it's not me personally. It's not like, it's my first and last name on a YouTube channel and everyone's watching me. They're watching, this guy.
Yeah, well, there goes the helmet.
Yep.
But that's what I mean is that like that comedy elevates you above.
Oh yeah, but
above the show.
It personally,
you have something to offer that's
Yeah.
not just look at me.
I know. It just
know?
it disconnects me
Yeah.
personally from what I'm doing, which I think is pretty much kept me more so mentally healthy than I guess your average influencer. At least from my point of view, I think that's
big
just
time. Oh, it would help.
the bit of disconnection is a good thing. It's distance I put between my personal life and my life online.
I've felt recently like I need to get into like some hobbies because I think like at the moment it's like I come to the office every day, I stream or I just mess around on my computer and then I go home and sleep, and that's just like a cycle for me. And I've been thinking that like I need something else in my life. I need to get back into things that I used to do in order to like have that real separation, and I think that will help with motivation and stuff.
100%.
I really want to get back into like I used to do photography, and I really want to get back into it. And I was telling Fitz last night I want to try and teach myself to play piano. I just think I need some separation.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that I realized very early on that you can't rely on the numbers game for your sole sense of purpose.
No,
Because-
that's retarded.
because
That is
it
a big mistake.
It is the least reliable, the least consistent, and the most likely to just tank thing you could tie your happiness to ever.
Yeah.
It's always going to go down some months.
If you tie your self-worth to numbers on the internet, you're not doing it right, man. Which is why I find the culture of LA kind of gross, because there's some culture where people will want to be your friend if you have a certain amount of numbers on the
Yeah.
internet, and that people will want to fuck you if you have a certain amount of numbers on Instagram, and it's like they tie all of your worth into the numbers you have online, and that is a really fucking weird way of doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. I think there's a huge culture of like fetishizing the fame of Instagram and things like that. But I also think part of it is subliminally, you see someone that has a big following and you kind of equate that to success. And I've always found personally that if someone is doing something successful in their life, or they're doing something that's kind of progressing them forward in life, I always find them more attractive than if they're not.
Sure. Yeah, that's a part of it.
And I think that's a little bit of it. I mean, obviously there is a
Well, sure.
the huge bit of-
There's the allure of I have the numbers, and I have a bunch of people that follow me and like me and appreciate what I do, or you'd be an entertainer or a model or a comedian or whatever, and you can have an audience, and I can see that it would be attractive for people.
No, but it's also like what I was saying is it's not even necessarily about the following to me. It's also just like if someone is like just got a job as a lawyer or something like they just out of college and they got a job as a lawyer, I'll be like, fuck that. That's like attractive to me.
Of
Yeah.
course,
It's like
that's
because they're
yeah.
doing something.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, everyone's always attracted to people who have purpose because that's. I mean, I think it's fundamentally important if you're in a relationship, especially with someone that you both have your own individual purpose.
100%.
Because otherwise, you are going to spend all your time, making this other person feel validated when really they should have something that makes them feel validated
Yeah.
themselves.
Or vice versa.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's. Because otherwise, you don't really want someone who's dependent on you for all
No.
that positive emotion. That's the
No.
same thing as tying yourself to your social blade.
Yeah.
It's like, it's this unreliable thing that can't
Yeah,
give
man.
to you all the time and won't give to
The
you all the time.
best case scenario for a relationship for me is just that the person who I'm with is completely independent, and then we willingly spend time together, but not all the time.
I think that's
that-
ideal for anyone, really.
That's the weird thing.
Unless
dude.
you want to dominate
Yeah.
like some fucking little bitch.
James Charles.
What the fuck? Why does it keep coming back to James
James
Charles?
Charles is a hugely successful and motivated guy. You'd be lucky to fuck him.
Minecraft Mondays, James.
Yeah, why don't you
Yeah.
slide into his VC real quick?
Yeah.
Swagger's winking at the camera right now.
Dude, fucking I mean, it's just like I went back to my hometown and saw a lot of my friends, and a lot of them are having, starting to get into relationships, about that age where you're finding people you're interested in and going out with them. One of my friends, has a girlfriend now, and they're inseparable, and they were like a group, a unit together for like a month before I came back. And as soon as I came back, he was like, all right, cool, I'll hang out with you solo. So I didn't get to meet her till later, but everyone was telling me, oh yeah, it's pretty much just been him and his girlfriend the entire time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, I've seen that a lot. I saw that a lot in college. I've seen it a lot in my personal life. It's just what happens is that two people get together and then they just go through this honeymoon phase where they're
It's
completely
excitement.
they're inseparable and they're
Well, they're in
madly in love and
yeah.
they're absolutely just inseparable. I don't know if that's particularly the healthiest way to do it.
I think
mean,
for some people it can be perfectly fine. But
I think it's good for like a month, but then you have to find, okay, well now we're going to have boundaries, and now we're going to, and you move into like a healthy relationship where, okay, you can hang out with your friends and I can hang out with my friends alone, and it's not a big deal. Like,
Yeah,
we
you
don't
do
have
have
to be
to have
together
that.
all the time. If you're
Sure.
together all the time, then, you're either going to feed each other's insecurity or you're going to just, cut people out of your life and, hurt your relationships and what have you.
And you do need, it doesn't matter how perfect someone is for you or how good friends you are with someone. There's always going to be stuff that you want to talk about with other people.
Yeah, you
And
need space.
You need
Oh,
that.
fuck yeah.
Because
I mean,
otherwise,
yeah.
if you're always talking to the same person about everything,
Oh, it's an echo chamber.
yeah, exactly. It's like, how are you supposed to develop as a person? You're just going to develop into this other person, and you're both going to be the same.
Oh, sure. I mean, the honeymoon phase is inevitable. I mean,
Oh,
because
sure.
you're in love, you're fucking a lot probably. That takes up a good bit of time, Like you got to get that fucking out of the way. But like eventually it should be a case of like, okay, now we're used to each other. Now we've really got into like the core of what this is. We've gone through this like deeply intimate phase with each other. It's time to start working on ourselves again and stepping out of this little box. And it doesn't mean you have to like take like a day off or whatever. You can still see each other every day, but you need to step outside of this bubble, or else you are going to find yourself unable to survive outside of it.
Right.
Because you're just so accustomed to this little comfort zone.
Then
You're-
God
you're both
forbid,
just fucking,
God forbid it pops the
God
bubble,
forbid- God
and,
forbid.
and then what?
yeah, and then they break
You know,
up with
oh,
you,
yeah,
and then
all
you're
of
like,
you-
no,
all-
my
yeah.
entire world, like the thing I was clinging on to, like all of my happiness was coming from this one person, and they've left me.
I think,
Yeah.
I
It's
think
not a good position to
I think
be in.
obviously in a relationship you should be front and center. Your own mental health, and then a close second could be your relationship.
Always.
There should always be a focus on you and your needs and everything, but you still need to be cognizant of your partner's wills and needs.
Of course.
And there's a healthy balance between the two, because if you're putting all of yourself, if you're investing the entirety of yourself in a relationship and it doesn't work out, you're fucked.
Oh,
You
yeah.
are fucked.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, that's like the stock crashing. That's investing all your stock in one thing, and it goes down, and it's like, well, now I'm left
And
with
then,
fucking
yeah,
jack shit.
Great Depression.
Picking up the pieces. Great Depression.
Yeah.
There's also like the other side of it as well, where it's like, it's not enough of a relationship. Like I dated someone for like a year and a half, but thinking back on it, it's like, it's pretty much, I just had someone that I, spent like 3 days a week with for a year and a half. And it was like, that was kind of all it was.
That was my relationship
And,
in high school.
as much as like at the time I was like, oh, this is great. I got a girlfriend. It's so much, this is so much fun. And I loved hanging out with that person, but it wasn't really like that much of a relationship.
No,
it was
wasn't,
more just,
it wasn't deep intimacy.
it was more just a friendship with some sexual shit thrown in.
Sure.
Which is nice as well.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, man, it's wacky. And, to reiterate my point at the beginning of the podcast, we're young here and obviously deeply ignorant probably about a lot of the stuff that we're talking about.
It's weird, man. I look back at myself, after like a spacing of 3 to 4 months and go like, wow, I was retarded then.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so much more wise and have so much more experience now. And another 3 months pass and I go, man, I was fucking retarded then. Luckily, I'm so much wiser and I have so much more experience now.
Yep.
And then it's just this cycle. I like to view my life, in phases, if somebody, from high school, walked up to me and tried to have a conversation with me, and talk about, high school shit and what I was like in high school, I wouldn't be able to relate. I'm not, the person that I was in high school. I don't think
course.
really any of us are.
I feel like
Hopefully not.
I feel like the life we've had over the past couple years has kind of like accelerated that process a little.
Oh, easy. I mean, it's a lot
Not-
to adjust to.
Not a huge amount, but enough to be like noticeable.
Yeah, your personality shifts as things in your life change dramatically.
Totally.
There's definitely a difference between me and myself from high school, and there's definitely a difference between me and myself from a year ago. And I think that's safe to say with everybody.
Hopefully.
You know, that's why I don't get people that hold grudges, you know, when they come to a high school reunion like 10, 20 years after the fact, and they're seeing other people from high school that they remember being these detestful fucking assholes that treated them like shit, and you know then you're gonna rent a car, like a supercar, and then you're gonna get a fucking, you know, like a model to pretend to be your girlfriend for the day just so you could, you know, show off to all these people. I mean, I think that it's flawed thinking, because if you aren't anything like how you were in high school 10 years prior to that reunion, then how can you expect anybody else there to still be an asshole and a detestable piece of shit? You know, like you have to figure that all the people in high school that were assholes to you, if it's even a year or 5 years later, dude, like so many people that I knew from high school that were pieces of shit that I saw when I was, you know, back home. You know, completely different people. Very, very pleasant. They've all grown up, and you know, you're out of that high school social structure. So there's you know, there's no such thing as a cool kid anymore. You know, because the fucking cool kids are, you know, flipping burgers. You know, there's not really some kind of social aspect to it anymore. It's just, oh yeah, we're adults now talking.
Yeah, and I mean, you can probably acknowledge that, you know, the people who were pieces of shit, they were probably deeply dissatisfied with aspects of their life. Or there's definitely some core reason, you know, maybe if they zoomed out on themselves, they would be able to see, like,
you know, it's just,
why was I behaving that way? Like, why did I do that? Like,
when you're 16, 17, 18, man, you are desperately immature. You are, you know, you're a fucking kid, and you have no idea what life is like as an adult, as you're independent.
And you also tend to be, like, very arrogant at that age.
Oh,
as well.
Yeah, dude, extremely. Because, you know, that's just the nature of the social hierarchy, especially in high schools and, you know, public schooling in general. I mean, it's weird to think about, eh?
Yeah, it's trippy. I mean, one thing my dad always said about high school reunions is that it's odd seeing when you go back to those things how much people slip back into their own like the old social structure.
Social clue.
Like the old cool kids hang out together, like they talk to each other, which makes, you know, sense obviously because
it's just your
they're
friends
the
in
people
high
they
school.
knew, but it's like you can see the dynamic is still there. There's an undertone of that, and it's like, man, like, you know. And, you know, it's also the thing of, let's say you were a loser in high school and now you're successful. And, you know, a lot of people, I think, feel the need to go back and flex on their classmates or prove their success. And like, it's like, why do you feel the need to get validation from these people that you don't know anymore, that you only knew like a former
and that you hate
part of them, and that you you hopefully don't hate them anymore, but
just like,
you know, I guess you were clinging on to maybe resenting them from back in the day. But it's like, you know, fundamentally you should acknowledge that it's a negative emotion that you're hanging on to, and that if you let go of it and just be content with where you are, because like realistically, if you feel the need to go back and flex on your high school friends, you're probably really not as happy as you think you are.
You know,
because if you're actually content,
there's probably insecurity,
if you're
involved in that. I mean, a rich man doesn't have to show that he's rich. A happy person doesn't have to show that he's happy. You know, like if you have those things, you don't need to express that. It should all be personal and you know, introspective. You know, your validation should be self-validation. You shouldn't be, you know, if you are confident in your position in life, whether that be your job or financially or emotionally, any of that, should all be, you know, addressed and considered personally.
Yes.
And you shouldn't look to other people to tell you, oh man, you're so happy, or oh man, you're so successful. You should think yourself like, I'm doing really well for myself, and I'm feeling good about it.
And that, I think, is like kind of the core of what I'm talking about when it comes to ego of the self, and like why I, you know, second guess myself when I think, oh, I'll post this on my story, I'll tweet out this little thing to show everyone that I'm doing all right, you know?
Yeah.
Like it, and that's, I always think that like, what's that itch I got to scratch? And then I sit on it and I think, I know what, I'm actually good. Like I'm good. Like I'm just gonna chill.
Right.
and that's, it's weird. It's the trippiest thing.
It's also like, you know, sometimes like when I was pretty new to Twitter and stuff and I had the following, it was like, I would delete a tweet if it didn't get enough likes.
Mm.
And it's like that's the most ridiculous bullshit ever. It's like, why do you need to delete the tweet? But
Yeah.
yeah, I would do that, not frequently, but if
I
something,
still do it sometimes,
yeah,
Yeah. I think that although, and it probably is for the reasons we're talking about as well, but I think it's also because of that, we talked earlier about how your outward numbers that you're showing affect other people's opinion of you.
That's
Like
true.
when people look at
Yeah.
my Twitter and they see a bunch of jokes, I don't want them to see the one that got like 5,000 likes amongst like a bunch of
Yeah.
ones that had more.
That's
'Cause
actually so true.
There's my blight on the face of my Twitter,
Because it's less a matter of that's very true. Now that I'm thinking about it, for me it was always less a matter of I feel bad because this isn't getting many likes, and more a matter of I don't want people to see that this one tweet got 200 likes when the rest of them get 1,000 or something like
there's
that.
a career element to it as well, which is
Yeah.
like, this is my job, and like I want to make sure that outwardly I'm showing
I-
that things are going okay, I guess.
I have a couple.
This is trippy. This is trippy shit.
I've
It's
actually got a
weird.
couple videos on my channel that are private, purely because they didn't perform well, and I was like, if I keep these on my channel, then brands are going to think I get less views and I'll get paid less.
Yeah.
It's genuinely like pretty much the only
there's that
reason why I did
dynamic.
it.
I was thinking about going back into some of my videos and privating or unlisting a couple of them.
I
just,
only
just
do it if
that
it's,
just that I'm like really unhappy with.
Yeah,
just the
that's fair.
production. You
Sure.
know, I think you're at certain points in your career as a YouTuber. You could look back at your stuff and go, wow, I've grown. But then you could look back at some stuff and go, man, I really don't like this, getting views anymore. So I should just fucking unlist it. Just that you're just deeply unhappy
yeah, it's
with.
like, this is not really what represents me.
Yeah,
right?
it's not,
I'm better than
I
that.
think that's
Yeah.
totally fair
That's
as
fair.
well. Yeah,
That's fair.
it's like because that's the when you say you don't want this to still be getting views, that totally makes sense. It's like you want your channel to be represented in the way that you want it to be represented.
Sure.
And if how you previously had it represented doesn't reflect the same way, then yeah, it totally makes sense.
But at the same time, that video is a part of your journey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the
So
thing.
it's like,
You don't want to be like, you don't want to be fucking privating, everything after like a year or 2 years ago. I still want to keep like the fucking CSGO rap battle shit on my channel because
Yeah.
that is roots.
I think the
Mhm.
roots, it's important to show your awkward phase, your blunder years.
yeah.
Because, we're by all means not fucking perfect, and no, we don't really, it's not really responsible to mislead everyone into thinking that you are,
Oh, yeah.
And
It's like Instagram photos and filters and shit.
I guess that's a whole nother topic. I feel
That is it's just an analogy.
yeah.
But if you had shit, that was lower quality than, you do now on your channel, and you just decide, I'm just going to fucking wipe this and never address that I wiped this, and people will never know that it's gone, then yeah, I guess you are putting a little bit of a filter on your channel and making it look better or whatever.
I guess.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, you also, you have no obligation to allow people to see content
Of course
that you
not.
and yeah.
I mean, all of these discussions, there's always, but the same time, comment
exactly,
that could go with them.
exactly.
Like nothing's ever one way or the other. There's like
Yeah.
a wide spectrum of reasons that people do things on social media or post things, or I don't know. The possibilities are infinitely complicated, and people are as well.
Mhm.
I think that's why I'm so fucking interested in it.
It is
Um,
fascinating.
Yeah, I think about it all the time. Like I really do. I really think about it. I don't know. I wish I kind of had my thoughts a little bit more together before this podcast.
Yeah, do you have any,
but-
do you have
Well,
any, do you have any more notes?
I think it's more interesting when you don't have your thoughts fully together on the
I-
podcast.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It adds the conversational aspect of it. Instead of you telling us something, it's more like, oh yeah, but then there could be this, and
It becomes a discussion
Yeah,
where we're figuring it
exactly.
out as we go.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's more fun.
Yeah, that's just
Easier to
me-
put.
I could be wrong though.
Easier to put. Easier to put your foot in your mouth, but
Yeah, but I mean that's
that's the fun.
That's what I'm talking about in the sense that I'm a perfectionist. Like I want to, I am the kind of guy that would think about this deeply. Like think about like my train of thought so that I could say it perfectly the first time.
Yeah.
But in reality, that's not how people work. That's not how conversation goes.
No,
Like
you can't
and-
pre-script a conversation.
no, and
Trust me.
and that's what I'm trying to get better at on the podcast. I get, despite my fucking bag of notes.
I mean,
I just pulled that out because I thought we were struggling.
yeah,
we were.
So
nothing wrong with notes.
yeah. So
Yeah, Matt just up and left, and then
wait, not even. This is such a surreal episode. you
yeah,
know?
really
we,
weird.
We started out like with this fucking
Weird improv shit.
about heroin and a meth addict or whatever beneath their bed. Matt left when we heard police sirens. He just didn't come back. And
He actually left.
we talked about Minecraft for like 10, 15 minutes, and then we just got on this like deep train of thought about ego and fame and social media. So there you go. It's been an hour. Like, I'm happy to call it.
I wanted to ask something real quickly.
Okay.
It's not that important. It's just interesting. Grand Theft Auto, GTA Online always has, like, I don't know how often they do it, but it's like every few months they release a free DLC, and it's a relatively big expansion usually. And this month they opened a casino on the game. So there's always been a casino building there, but you could never go in. And people, since the game came out like 5 or 6 years ago, people have been like, add the casino. They added the casino, and in 52 countries, you aren't allowed to enter the casino in the game, which is so interesting.
Wow.
Because it's not real money. It's not real gambling. You just use your in-game money and you can gamble with it. And there's a restriction on it. You can only get 50,000 credits per hour or something. And I mean, I haven't played the game that much. I got $1.8 billion. So it's not that intense.
hard flex.
But
I'm a billionaire in GTA.
But I guess it's habit building maybe. I don't
yeah,
know.
but that's what's interesting, because there's so many games with actual gambling in them, like, your loot boxes and things like that. And they're still technically okay in so many countries, but I found it so interesting that specific thing wasn't allowed in so many countries. And I think it's a few major countries too. Like, I think you may not be allowed to go in the UK and stuff like that.
Maybe it's the fact that it's literally a virtual act of going into a casino and living the experience
It is.
out.
It is very interesting because I haven't been gambling in months because I just don't think I should.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But
No.
I haven't gone gambling in a while.
I hate
I wouldn't mind
gambling.
going to Crown again.
I'm not going anymore. I have told myself I'm not going to gamble anymore.
Place dehydrates me, dude. I can't
Really?
stand it. I feel like an old prune when I walk out. I swear, like, they crank up the aircon so it dries you out.
But what's so interesting about the Grand Theft Auto stuff is you've got this character, and if you go into first person the character and you have friends that you're playing with and talking to on Discord, which I've been doing every night, it's like me, Buys and Spud, walk into a casino, sit down at a table. I can see his hands. I can see his hands. And we act. It just feels
It's
like
immersive.
It feels like I'm gambling.
Yeah,
with
wait till
someone.
VR, dude.
And that would totally
VR gambling.
Fuck.
That totally. That's why I can see that would be habit building. That
Yeah.
I would totally do them. And be like, maybe I'll go play a couple of hands of blackjack at Crown or something. And yeah, I just found it so interesting. And I think it's good that it's banned in some countries, and I think maybe should be banned everywhere.
Gambling's tough, dude.
Yeah.
Gambling is weird. You have to be really fucking careful when you gamble, especially if you're gambling and you have a lot of money.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
filled
'Cause
with
you can-
psychological
yeah.
traps.
You drop, you lose $500. Oh, dude, I'll just take out 1,000 and put it on black, and then I'll get 2K. But you never think, what if I put 1,000 on black and it goes red? Because then you're down 1,500. Oh, well, I'll just take out $5,000 and put it on red, and then I'll get 10K and I'll be like so super over, and I would have made a profit, and then I'll cut it there, and then you lose your 5K.
I mean,
Yeah,
we've talked about gambling a lot on the podcast, and we've talked about, we had a driver who told us about experiences with multi-millionaires losing all their money over the years. But I mean, it's something that the reason I don't gamble anymore and I don't go to casinos is because I don't react. I don't react if I lose. I don't
That's
react if I
fucking
win.
Scary.
And because I don't give a shit if I lose a $5,000 bet, I don't give a shit if I win a $5,000 bet. It means that that disconnect means that I make terrible decisions.
Remember
so I've
you-
just told myself no gambling.
Didn't you like put a fuck ton of money on 8 or something, and it hit 8, and you won like,
$100 on 8 made 3.6
and
grand.
you didn't fucking do anything. You literally said nothing. You literally didn't even make a face. You just collected your chips and put it in your pocket. And
I think you're a sociopath.
it was fucking surreal.
That's why I don't gamble.
Yeah, dude, Jesus.
Because I mean, that's the sort of shit that and even though I don't react and I don't really care that much if I win or lose, I still loved doing it.
Do you-
It was
do you
still
get-
fun.
Do you get an adrenaline rush? Do you like feel any internal response?
Like every now and again, but a lot of the time it is literally just like, oh, let's see how much money I can make, and then I'll lose it. And I was like, all right. But every now and again I'll do some. I'll go on a big winning streak, and I'll be like, oh, this feels good. But other than that, not really.
Yeah.
But, as I said, that's the reason I don't want to go to Crown.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
My dad always taught me that, with gambling, it's fine every now and again with friends to go in with a set amount and be like, look, if I lose it, whatever. Like, you accept it's lost before you go in.
Yeah, it's just
But
the
anything else-
experience of the night out.
Anything else and you're playing
know?
with fire.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I've taken his advice with that. Like, I try and stay the fuck out of that place now. We've got some stories on the podcast, obviously.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
had some crazy nights and we've, had some fun, but that's really what it was. It was a crazy night and we had some fun and that's it.
Try
So,
not
yeah.
to lose too much money.
And I mean, the games themselves are quite fun.
I love roulette,
And,
dude. I could
roulette's
I could
fun.
fuck with roulette all day.
I mean, but
can't,
we all love
blackjack's
poker.
just like,
Yeah. Fuck, man. I'm exhausted, dude. I'm tired.
Yeah, we had a
I am
long
also.
meeting before this podcast.
It's been a long
and-
day. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, we hope you enjoyed this discussion about all kinds of wacky shit. I thought it was kind of a bit of a trip of an episode, but those are the best kind, really, aren't they?
The middle chunk, the meat of the episode between the bread I think that was a pretty solid discussion there.
Yeah, about ego. I mean, I don't know if we really.
I don't think you really can get anywhere with
Yeah,
that
I
discussion.
really- I
it's
really
all
don't think you can.
abstract and there's so many possibilities to why things would be.
Yeah.
But it's something that I think about a lot, so I wanted to bring it up and
Yeah, it was interesting.
Maybe we'll revisit the topic in a few months' time when
When
What
we're
about
all
it some more?
egotistical pricks.
yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you to our supporters on Patreon. We appreciate it. Thank you to gamersubs.gg.
And
Code
goodbye to
Misfits.
Queen Molly, probably
Queen Molly?
last month of Employee of the Month, potentially.
Unless she fucking renews it.
Yeah,
Please
who
do. I
knows?
don't want to change that picture. It's going to be too much work.
Who knows? But yeah, we might have a new Employee of the Month next month. Who will know? Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Have a good one.
Peace.